As you prepare for the US Citizenship Test, understanding key vocabulary is essential. This section will introduce you to important vocabulary that may be asked during the interview. Mastering these definitions will not only help you build your confidence, but will also prepare you to pass the test successfully. Let's get started on these exciting materials as you embark on your journey towards a new life as a US citizen. Do you know what oath of allegiance means? Do you know what oath of allegiance means? A promise to be loyal to the United States. A promise to be loyal to the United States. What is the definition of work of national importance? What is the definition of work of national importance? Tasks that are important to a nation. Tasks that are important to a nation. What is the meaning of vote? What is the meaning of vote? To elect new leaders. To elect new leaders. What is the definition of weapons? What is the definition of weapons? Like a knife or gun. Like a knife or gun. Can you explain what claim to be a US citizen means? Can you explain what claim to be a US citizen means? To state you are a US citizen. To state you are a US citizen. Can you explain what crime means? Can you explain what crime means? An action that breaks the law. An action that breaks the law. What is the meaning of torture? What is the meaning of torture? To hurt someone physically. To hurt someone physically. Can you explain what owe taxes is? Can you explain what owe taxes is? To owe the government money. To owe the government money. What is a military unit? What is a military unit? A group that works for government. A group that works for government. What does smuggle mean? What does smuggle mean? To take things to a country illegally. To take things to a country illegally. What does cited mean? What does cited mean? Given a ticket by police. Given a ticket by police. Do you understand what lie means? Do you understand what lie means? To say something that is not true. To say something that is not true. Do you understand what gamble means? Do you understand what gamble means? To play a game for money. To play a game for money. Do you know what bear arms is? Do you know what bear arms is? To own or use a gun. To own or use a gun. Do you know what non-resident alien means? Do you know what non-resident alien means? Person who has not passed the green card test. Person who has not passed the green card test. Do you know what prostitute is? Do you know what prostitute is? Someone who has sex for money. Someone who has sex for money. What does prison or jail mean? What does prison or jail mean? A place where prisoners are kept. A place where prisoners are kept. What does illegal drugs or narcotics mean? What does illegal drugs or narcotics mean? Like heroin or cocaine. Like heroin or cocaine. Can you explain what public benefit is? Can you explain what public benefit is? Welfare, like food stamps. Welfare, like food stamps. What is the definition of charged? What is the definition of charged? Police tell you that you did something illegal. Police tell you that you did something illegal. How would you define drafted? How would you define drafted? Being selected as a soldier. Being selected as a soldier. What does hereditary title mean? What does hereditary title mean? A royal title like prince or princess. A royal title like prince or princess. What does claim mean? What does claim mean? To say something is true. To say something is true. What does "oh" mean? What does "oh" mean? To have a debt. To have a debt. Do you understand what totalitarian party is? Do you understand what totalitarian party is? Government controls everything and people have no power. Government controls everything, and people have no power. What is the meaning of fraudulent? What is the meaning of fraudulent? To claim something that is not true. To claim something that is not true. What is the definition of constitution? What is the definition of constitution? It is the supreme law of the land. It is the supreme law of the land. What is the meaning of civilian direction? What is the meaning of civilian direction? A direction from a person who is not in the military. A direction from a person who is not in the military. Do you know what register means? Do you know what register means? To sign up. To sign up. What does weapons training mean? What does weapons training mean? To learn how to use a gun. To learn how to use a gun. Can you explain what immigration benefit is? Can you explain what immigration benefit is? Things like a visa, green card, or citizenship. Things like a visa, green card, or citizenship. What does Communist Party mean? What does Communist Party mean? Like China, North Korea. Like China, North Korea. Do you understand what pay alimony means? Do you understand what pay alimony means? To pay money to ex-spouse after a divorce. To pay money to ex-spouse after a divorce. What does overdue mean? What does overdue mean? Past a deadline. Past a deadline. Do you know what deport means? Do you know what deport means? To force a person to leave a country. To force a person to leave a country. Do you know what incite means? Do you know what incite means? To encourage. To encourage. What is the meaning of detained? What is the meaning of detained? Held in custody by police. Held in custody by police. Can you explain what arrested means? Can you explain what arrested means? Handcuffed by the police. Handcuffed by the police. How would you define file a tax return? How would you define file a tax return? To send tax paperwork to the government. To send tax paperwork to the government. Do you know what national origin is? Do you know what national origin is? Where a person is from. Where a person is from. What does commit a crime mean? What does commit a crime mean? To do something that breaks the law. To do something that breaks the law. What is the meaning of drug paraphernalia? What is the meaning of drug paraphernalia? Equipment to make illegal drugs. Equipment to make illegal drugs. Can you explain what procure is? Can you explain what procure is? To find someone for sex. To find someone for sex. What does misleading mean? What does misleading mean? Giving the wrong idea. Giving the wrong idea. Can you explain what non-combatant services means? Can you explain what non-combatant services means? Services that do not involve combat. Services that do not involve combat. Can you explain what paramilitary unit is? Can you explain what paramilitary unit is? Like a military group, but is not official. Like a military group, but is not official. Do you know what civilian is? Do you know what civilian is? A person who is not in the military. A person who is not in the military. Can you explain what overthrow means? Can you explain what overthrow means? To remove a government from power. To remove a government from power. Can you explain what confined is? Can you explain what confined is? To be kept in a place. To be kept in a place. What is the definition of misrepresentation? What is the definition of misrepresentation? To lie or give wrong information. To lie or give wrong information. How would you define military-type training? How would you define military-type training? Learning how to fight in combat. Learning how to fight in combat. Can you explain what genocide means? Can you explain what genocide means? To kill a whole race. To kill a whole race. What does false mean? What does false mean? Not true. Not true. Do you know what detention facility is? Do you know what detention facility is? A place where people are forced to stay. A place where people are forced to stay. What is the meaning of offense? What is the meaning of offense? A minor crime. A minor crime. Can you explain what controlled substances are? Can you explain what controlled substances are? You can buy it with a prescription, but with restrictions. You can buy it with a prescription, but with restrictions. What does dependent mean? What does dependent mean? Someone who relies on another person. Someone who relies on another person. Can you explain what order of nobility is? Can you explain what order of nobility is? Like king or queen. Like king or queen. Do you know what deportation proceedings means? Do you know what deportation proceedings means? Process of removing a person. Process of removing a person. How do you define form of government of the United States? How do you define form of government of the United States? Republic. Republic.